After the mutants were successful in disarming MODOK's kill switch, Sync gave Polaris the green light to advance and release the brood on the Orchis HQ, the Bloom. And the self-proclaimed new master of magnetism wasted little time as she used her powers to launch the new home of Brew and the Brood, the head of a deceased celestial, directly at the Orchis space station, sending MODOK, Dr. Stasis, and everyone on board into a panic. Orchis is expecting mutants, so Stasis commands the guards to kill every mutant that boards the Bloom with Blight's will. Polaris enters the spacecraft alone in Magneto fashion, protected by a powerful magnetic force field that deflects the welcoming onslaught of munitions. She then calls for the Brood to board the spacecraft, and the most hated alien parasites in the galaxy begin to mow through the swarm of Orchis guards like a weed whacker. Meanwhile, an Orchis shuttle containing a number of armed Orchis guards and a captured Wolverine tries to make contact with the Bloom, but to no avail. The guard to the left of Wolverine that brought him in is actually Colossus in disguise. The two begin to neutralize the surrounding opposition, and almost immediately the Blue Bamf Devil himself joins his comrades. To their surprise, the Brood also join the fray and finish off the remaining guards. During an impromptu rendezvous, Polaris learns that Firestar has been a double agent aiding the mutants all along. Kitty Pryde is in Paris attempting to rescue Cyclops from capital punishment, and none other than the Unstoppable Force and newly repentant Juggernaut is responsible for rescuing the personification of Krakoa, which he succeeds in, by the way, but mentions that the two need to be extracted. Emma Frost assigns Rogue to pick the two up, but Rogue and Gambit have other pressing matters to tend to, so Rogue sends the X-Jet to Emma on autopilot, and her and Gambit take to the skies. And fortunately for Emma, Sync shows up with Iceman's powers and neutralizes the Stark Sentinel with Frost, like some sort of indirect ode to the White Queen. Rogue and Gambit travel to the former Xavier School for gifted youngsters to revive Manifold. Rogue hid him there in stasis per Destiny's orders, as she proclaimed that mutant kind would not survive without Manifold. After reviving him, Manifold goes on the attack, believing that Rogue kidnapped him with ill intentions. After Rogue transformed into his sister Lactuca, Manifold realized he was dreaming. His sister quickly updated him on the current events, highlighting that the X-Men saved his life and he can trust the mutants. After the dream ends, Manifold uses his powers to quickly teleport the trio away before a Stark Sentinel turns them into mutant mush. Meanwhile, back on the nearly destroyed Orchis Bloom Station, Wolverine is in pursuit of Dr. Stasis. Stasis manages to get to an escape pod and tells Wolverine that he'll never see Firestar if Logan kills him. The sinister clone mocks the best there is before launching into space. Wolverine, now frustrated, telepathically notifies Emma Frost to quickly locate Stasis. While his back is turned, MODOK blasts Wolverine and makes snarky remarks before making his own escape. Damn, Logan can't catch a break. Fortunately, Polaris can catch him as she locates him via his adamantium bones. The band is now back together and all are safely confined in Polaris's force field. All except the former leader of the X-Men, Cyclops, as he faces his demise at the uncanny hands of Omega Sentinel. For a man mere moments away from his death, Cyclops is composed because he's expecting Shadowcat to phase fuck the shit out of Omega Sentinel. Although his savior is female, it's the last person he would expect to ever come to his aid, Dr. Gregor. It would appear that Cyclops' words to the Orchis doctor back in the prison, paired with Omega Sentinel mentioning a Sentinel City, provoked Dr. Gregor to reevaluate her limited access role in Orchis. Could Dr. Gregor be the X factor for the mutants to finally end Orchis?